So, to me, accountability and visibility matters so much because you can't get buy-in if you don't have accountability, if you don't have visibility. If you think about any function that exists inside of any kind of company, it only exists and it only lasts if people feel that it brings value to the organization as a whole, right? So sales departments would not exist if they didn't bring in revenue, right? We'd figure something else out. Marketing would not exist if it didn't deliver qualified leads that could be worked by sales or provide enablement to sales or help, create more retention, more upsell opportunities among the customer base. That's why things are valuable to the organization. That's why the board of directors cares. That's why the CEO cares. And the reason why those things are of an actual value within the organization is because you can see the results, right? So when sales makes a sale and someone hits the gong, everyone cheers. Like, that's great. You know what's happening. But in marketing, a lot of the content we're producing, the messaging that we're doing, it's extremely black box, right? And it's, once again, because of what I've said before, everyone's focused on their function or their channel rather than focused as a whole on what kind of value are we going to deliver, how is this campaign going to deploy, and what are the results that we want to see come from it. So having the accountability from every single stakeholder within your organization that's involved in that content, that just matters so much because otherwise they're going to ignore it. They've got other things to do. It's not like we're all doing one thing. We're doing multiple things as marketers. And the visibility just goes into that. Like, I can be accountable for my role. If I understand my role and I understand my place in the process, that's great. Now I'm accountable. But if I can't see how that rolls out into an actual campaign, into an actual strategy, into actual results, if I'm not seeing the entire process, then I have no real stake in it. I'll lose interest, even if I'm accountable. So you can't just create an assembly line within your organization. It doesn't even, and this goes beyond content, but in anything. You can't just create an assembly line. The people on the assembly line need to see what the end product is and where their role is in it. So that's why it's so important to have accountability and visibility. And in terms of getting it, content marketing and really marketing in general, marketing is content in so many ways. A few of the tips that I suggest to people is, one, creating a content board. So if you think about everything I'm going to do, whether I'm equipping sales with some kind of enablement materials, or I'm trying to drive some awareness, pre-funnel awareness, if you will. If I'm trying to do some lead gen, demand generation, I'm going to do an automation campaign, some nurturing, scoring. Everything you do is going to come down to the content you deploy through those different systems, right? Or different channels. And so you need to have all your stakeholders come together on a regular basis to identify what are the key themes we're going to address this quarter or this year, and then how are we going to create campaigns that all tie back to those themes, but then get deployed at the right stage to the right persona for the right channel. So you, instead of thinking channel first, you think content first. So I suggest creating an actual content board where you bring in all those different stakeholders and provide them insight into the process and kind of ask them, what are you hearing? What are you hearing in your particular function? The next part of that is really building out the workflows for it so that everybody understands their piece of the process, right? So we've come up with the campaign, we know what themes we're going to address. How is that content actually going to get created? How is it going to get deployed to the specific channel? How are we going to measure the results? What does that process look like? And that process shouldn't be built brand new with every campaign. It should be one that you build one time and optimize over time, but use as a repeatable process so you're not reinventing the wheel every time. And then lastly, it's just giving that, the things like editorial calendars, centralized distribution, and results, serving them all back up in one particular place or in one particular group so that people can see what the results look like. They can see how the whole process got deployed, because visibility, again, you can't just have accountability without the visibility. You can't have insight without the accountability. So all these things really play into each other.